Now a new conflict is taking place, and it's taking place in Africa. You can also call it Middle East. That is in the country of Sudan. And Sudan is burning, and it's burning from its heart. That is capital of Khartoum. Clashes erupted after weeks of heightened tensions between the Rapid Support Force, a paramilitary force which is led by Mohammed Hamdan, and the military which is being headed by Lieutenant General Abdul Fattah. This is the leader, Mr. Mohammed Hamdan of the Rapid Security Force, and this is the Lieutenant General or head of the army of Sudan. And there are tensions between the two generals over a number of issues, particularly how the transition to the civilian government or the democratic government will take place. I will come first to the brief history of this military Janata rule in Sudan. Then I will come why the conflict is overtly the conflict is there, and covertly what can be the geopolitical reasons behind that and repercussions. So if you look at the origin of the Sudanese conflict, the roots of this ongoing conflict goes back to April 2019, when the Sudan's long-serving authoritarian president Omar al-Bashir was overthrown by the military generals following a country-wide uprising against him. This is the same guy, Omar al-Bashir. And despite Bashir's ouster, civilians continue to demonstrate. They were wanting democratic elections, and after 4 months there were talks between the military leadership and the civilian leadership, and they came to a conclusion that by the end of 2023 Sudan will have elections and a civilian government. And meanwhile they came to a conclusion that Abdullah Hamdok will be appointed and was appointed as the Prime Minister of the transitional period. But the government of Abdullah Hamdok doesn't lasted long, and the military under these two generals, that is one of the military and another of the paramilitary force. The paramilitary force was basically made by Omar al-Bashir as to have a grip on the government. He created it as his own personal army, personal paramilitary, and unlike other paramilitary forces, these guys are having advanced heavy weaponry, and that is the main reason behind this conflict. I will come to that also. So in the October of 2021, Abdullah Hamdok's government was overthrown by the military, and basically the Lieutenant General Burhan became the de facto leader of the country, and the leader of paramilitary force became the vice president of the ruling council. And it was decided that the military will be holding power up till the elections of 2023, to be very specific, July 2023, which is about to come. Then what happened? The tussle started between the army and the paramilitary, that is Rapid Security Force. And soon after the 2021 coup, the relations between these two generals started soaring, and the reason was what is claimed that how to induct these Rapid Security Force paramilitary persons, which are around 10,000 in number, how to integrate them into the army, and who will look to the procedure under which authority it will work, the integration will take place. And their leader was wanting the integration to delay for 10 more years, maybe due to he was wanting that power should be in his grip. And these guys, the force of 10,000 paramilitary persons and who are armed with heavy weaponry, becomes his own personal militia. And what happened over past few weeks, these paramilitary forces redeployed themselves into part different parts of countries, and the military saw it as a provocation, and then fierce battle broke out between the two fractions, that is the army of the country and the paramilitary force of the country, on Saturday. And Sudan, we know their economy is already struggling, and they have massive kind of foreign debt. But what I think, now this is what is overt. Now I will come to covert stuff which may be there. I am saying may be there. See, as far as the military is concerned, I think the military can easily, within few days of time, overpower these paramilitary forces. Why? You look at Sudan's military ranking in terms of firepower and active military personnel. So it is having around more than 100,000, to be very specific, 1,09,500 manpower, working manpower, active manpower in its military, and it's ranked as 8th top militaries of Africa. And compare it with the paramilitary force, they are just having 10,000 personnel. So they are not even 10% of the strength of the Sudanese military, but they might be having some support. And what support? What I think, that the geopolitical rivalry which is going on between Russia and United States of America might be playing a role over here. Why? Because the military junta, the military government of Sudan, has agreed to give Russia a base somewhere around here. This region is known as Port Sudan. Now look at the geographical location. This Port Sudan is at the Red Sea. Above it, at the north of it, is Egypt. Then you go to northwest of it, Sudan, is Libya. Then just very close to this Port Sudan is Saudi Arabia. There you will get United Arab Emirates as well as Israel over here. Then here is Yemen. So you can understand the geopolitical importance of this location, and already United States of America was warning the Sudanese military of the consequences if they give this base to Russians, but they were giving it. Plus, in Sudan, Russians are heavily invested, even their mercenary group, what's known as the Wagner group, they have invested there in gold mines. Sudan is also having gold mines. So there are obvious Russian interests. So if a division, a crack is created within the ruling faction, that is the military and the paramilitary, a new conflict can take place, a geopolitical power play, what I call it as a proxy war, can occur there in Sudan. And mark my words, the transition period from a monopolar world to a multipolar world will be filled with such proxy wars on the entire earth. So we may see many of such Sudan or many of such happenings in the coming weeks, in the coming months, in the coming years. Thank you.